book of Numbers is a book of numbers. Well, I mean, it is more than that, but there are sections at the beginning and the end of the book of Numbers which basically give the census data of Israel at the beginning of the Exodus and again at the end of the Exodus. The first half of Numbers is just a continuation of what we find in the second half of Exodus and the whole of Leviticus. It's the series of laws and directives that are given to Moses on Sinai. For this huge block of the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, we find God and Moses in constant conversation for a period of about a year as God seeks to shape and mold Israel into a holy people that can become his people. As such, like Leviticus before it, Numbers is not really a storybook, certainly not in the way that Genesis and Exodus are. In that block of text, we find story after story. In the giving of the law, there are just fewer stories told. But just like we saw a little story in the book of Leviticus, which detailed a commandment violation, here in Numbers we find another one. When the Israelites were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. Those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moses, Aaron, and the whole congregation. They put him in custody because it was not clear what should be done to him. Then the Lord said to Moses, "The man shall be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him outside the camp." The whole congregation brought him outside the camp and stoned him to death, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Numbers 15:32-36. He was gathering sticks. Not even, we assume, on a soccer field on a Sunday morning. This story has a lot of parallels to the story we saw in Leviticus. The offender is left unnamed. After the offender is discovered breaking the commandment, Moses confers with God directly to determine the proper punishment. The punishment in both stories is death. And the community is to take part in the levying of that brutal sentence. 2 things. First, at this point in our journey, I think it's kind of clear that the 10 Commandments here are definitely not presented as the 10 suggestions. The punishment, as directed by God, is so severe that you really get the sense that we're not messing around here. Second, here we have the 4th commandment broken in the 4th book of the Bible. And the story which tells of the violation is again in a book that is not a storybook. I think it's unmistakable. There's a pattern here, and therefore probably a larger message that we're being asked to listen to. Here's a question to think about. Jesus said, "The Sabbath was made for humankind, and not humankind for the Sabbath." What do you think is Jesus' message of Sabbath observance for us?